Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Arun Thukral. I'm a life and a leadership coach, and today I'm gonna share a lot of thoughts, ideas on diversity and inclusion. I'm sure this is one of the buzzwords that you would be hearing a lot for the last 10 years, but this has become the thing in the success of an organization, in the success of you as a leader, and in making good teams, productive teams, dynamic teams. This one word, that is diversity and inclusion, is going to play a crucial role, and this is what we are going to learn today. Well, as I said before, I'm creating a lot of content, and if you like my content, don't forget to like and subscribe this and share it with your friends. Let's get into the topic now and understand what diversity and inclusion is all about. And in order to explain that, I'm going to start with my favorite way of telling a story. And with this, first I will make you understand what is diversity, what is inclusion, and then we'll get into the 5 ways that diversity and inclusion can help in making a productive team in achieving organizational objective, and also how you can become a successful leader. Well, let's begin with a story. I remember many years back when I was shortlisted for a medical device company. I was very excited, and when I joined there, I had just one question in my mind, because this company was known for hiring people from the same industry, from the same type of people, and I was like an odd man out because prior to this I had worked into the pharmaceutical selling experience. And when I went, it was my second week in the system, I went to the HR and I went to my manager, and I had one question, that why they selected me out of all other choices that they had. And I got one answer, and that is diversity. Well, that was my first learning that what diversity means, because they wanted to have a variance in experience, various in the background, rather than going a traditional way of hiring same people from the same segment. After a couple of months, I realized that I was a part of certain projects which were local as well as global, and in some of the projects I was leading the project, and in some projects I was a part of the team. That was the time I had great interaction with different set of people from different designations, from other functions, and that's how I see that I'm able to learn a lot from those people whom I had never thought will be a part of such cultural change, because some people were from manufacturing, some people were from IT, automation, and many other segments, which in my past career I had never been along working with them. In this experience, I realized that not only that I was learning from them, but I was also able to bring my experiences of the past in making that project successful. And that was my second learning, where I realized that this is called inclusion. Because once you understand what is diversity and inclusion, you really understand that what it means for anyone. So in other words, if any organization is able to build diversity by bringing people from different backgrounds, education, experience, ethnicity, or from a different set of skill sets, that's where you bring diversity. And when you include people in doing decision making, problem solving, and in various other initiatives, you see that people are included in it. Well, the major problem with the organizations and the leaders in the organization today is that they have understood the importance of diversity because of some of the global mandates, but they have not understood the reality of inclusion. Because if you focus on diversity alone, it is not going to solve your problem. The second myth that a lot of people have when it comes to diversity is they feel that they need to have more women in the workplace, and that's why there is a very high focus in the organization to have at least 50% of the women representing the organizational entire workforce. But that again is a myth, because it's not just about having a gender diversity. It also means that you have to bring diversity with respect to skill sets, education, ethnicity, and many other factors which can help the organization to grow and be more highly result oriented. And that can only happen when the vision of the leader is very clear, that what he or she wants in their team to make a successful team. So it is irrespective of just one factor, that is gender. So I hope you are learning something, that how diversity and inclusion can play a crucial role in bringing the best out of the people, best for the organization and best for the leader. And that's what happened to me in my real story when I was a part of that organization, which was a Fortune 500 organization. I not only was able to contribute more with respect to my experience, but also gain a lot from people, from diversity of experience, and the overall growth of mine took a next leap. Well, in the next part, I'm going to tell you what are the benefits of having diversity and inclusion in place, which can help in achieving the objectives that you have thought. And if you are stuck in your goals, if you are stuck in achieving certain objectives that you're not meeting, this particular piece will give you a lot of understanding and reasons that why you should have higher diversity and inclusion in your team. So how diversity and inclusion plays a very important role in building a successful, strategic and people-oriented team. The first thing is that it helps in building the culture of the organization. Well, I'm sure you will agree that any business, whether it is small or big, is all directly linked to the results that it brings on the table. And when the results are not in favor, we think about there could be two reasons. One is strategy and second is culture. Well, a lot can be talked about the strategy, but what about culture? Culture comes from people. People who come into the organization, when they work together, the kind of beliefs, the kind of attitude and the kind of values they bring in the system defines the culture of the organization. Or in other words, we can say that it's the hardware versus software. That means your hardware is your results that you get out of your strategy. But what is the software? The software is the people. So when you bring people from different cultures, different variety of experiences, different variety of educational experience and background, you tend to bring diversity in your team. And when people come from different diverse cultures, they come together with a new set of beliefs, new set of values and new set of ideas which can help in solving the organizational problem. And when they are included, that is what I'm saying, inclusion, it starts to build the culture of the organization. And that is where it is very important to bring diversity and culture, diversity and inclusion to build the culture of the organization. The second thing that helps from diversity and inclusion in any organization is the abundance of ideas and innovation. As already mentioned, when you bring people from different diverse background of ethnicity, education, skills, experience and new beliefs, you have a plethora of ideas to the existing problems of the organization. Or in other words, let's say that you hire people from the same place with the same attitude, skills and experience like you always wanted to. But then what you realize over a period of time that they are coming out with the same set of solutions which are tried and tested and which probably are not working because the world of work has changed, the dynamics have changed. So how to solve this? In very simple words, when you bring people from different backgrounds, ethnicity, experience, beliefs, culture and education, you have newer ideas, you have newer belief system which is bringing a change. And that's how when group thinkings come together, they help in solving problems by innovative ideas and solutions to the existing problems, and even in problems which you don't even anticipate that are likely to come in the future. The third benefit of having diversity and inclusion in your team helps in bringing and fostering better customer service. As I have already mentioned that because of good ideas, novel ideas and novel solutions, you have an innovative approach. It not only helps the employees, organization, but also the customers, which means that people, when they have newer ideas and working in newer cultures with different set of people, the first thing that comes in their mind is they develop empathy. when they develop empathy, which means it improves in their listening skills or interpersonal skills. And when that gets sharpened, eventually there are better outcomes to customer problems, because any organization which is working, it is there to solve the problems of the customer. But if they are bogged down, if they are not good listeners, they will not be able to forget about listening. It's not even finding the newer ways to solve their problems. But with diversity and inclusion, when you have newer ideas, you build empathy in understanding the others, and that's how it gets reflected in your work area. The fourth benefit of having diversity and inclusion at the workplace, that it checks attrition. I'm sure you will agree that when people come together from different backgrounds, skill sets and experience, and they bring out more empathy towards each other, the collective experience of the group starts to build up. And when that starts to happen, people understand each other well and they embrace each other well with respect to the failures and the success of each other. What it all brings, it simply brings more teamwork, more cohesion with people, because they all understand each other well. In such a scenario, you would find that people love to stick together rather than running away from each other. And that's how the attrition is also checked in such a scenario. Or I would paint this picture differently. Let's imagine that people come from the same background, same skill sets, from the same industry, with the same set of mind. And when they come together and they are not able to find solutions to problem, first, they will not listen to each other. Two, they don't have anything new on the table. Third, they are always pulling down each other to prove that they are better than the other. And eventually what will happen? You lose interest, you get into more anxiety, you get into more pressure to achieve more, and eventually when you are not able to achieve that, you tend to look out for opportunities and attrition starts to follow. And the fifth and the last point is that diversity and inclusion definitely boosts profits. I'm sure you will agree that when people come from different backgrounds, from different ethnicity, different work culture, they are bound to bring success to the organization. And once that starts to unfold, it eventually brings profit, because your customer is happy, your clients are happy, and your employees are happy. And eventually you win as a leader. Well, if I have to now really sum up the whole topic of diversity and inclusion, I would simply say that if you practice diversity and inclusion, you are actually attracting a good talent which is going to come together, which is going to stay together, and which is going to bring the best out of them in the culture that you provide. But on the contrary, if you are a leader who is just thinking for the few, which means you only want people with the same culture, background, and the same experience, you are not only limiting your success, but you are also jeopardizing the success of the organization. And then you will see there are limited results, there are limited ideas, and you are stuck. Well, this is all I had to submit in my presentation today, and I want you to think about it, that how you are practicing diversity and inclusion at your workplace. If you really want to be a strong leader, you really now start practicing and bringing more cultural change. I look forward to your comments and feedback in the comment section, and I would love to answer each of it personally. Thank you. Thanks for watching me.